Whenever a gem kills a human or a dog or something, then the diamond can literally bring them back to life and profit from this transaction by gaining a brand new spawn point to jump out of, and endless amounts of free storage space, which honestly just makes you wonder why in the world were the diamonds made with a teleportation ability that required a dead organic body to work, instead of just, you know, being given the power to teleport in the first place.
For me? Who would put this here? And how does this huge place fit inside of Lion's Mane anyway?
Who would put this here, and how does this huge place fit inside of Lion's Mane anyway? Now, these were two really well thought out questions that were made by our boy Steven here, which were rare during season 1. But the problem is that we'd only really ever get an answer to one of them, and it was the one that everyone saw coming from a mile away at that.
Who would put this here?
What are you doing?
Steven, that voice.
But after uncovering a ton of very interesting details surrounding the lore behind the existence of pocket dimensions and the astral plane on Steven Universe, I'm now fully convinced that I finally figured out why the series would quietly choose to avoid answering Steven's second question altogether.
Lion, take me somewhere new.
Alright, so just so that we're all on the same page, the pocket dimension that our boy Steven would enter inside of Lion's Mane during the season 1 episode titled Lion Free Straight to Video, which I'll be referring to as the pink dimension for the rest of this video, was most likely accessed for the first time by Pink Diamond after she would bring one of her lions back to life.
Mom!
This tragic event that would get revealed to us after Steven would try his best to confront Lion about his past during the season 5 episode titled Lassie's Head.
Oh, Lion. So you were...
Points us in an extremely strange direction because again, Pink Diamond at the very least was specifically made with the power to access another dimension. A dimension that mysteriously grew trees and stumps of land to represent the souls of the organic beings who lost their lives and were then brought back to the world of the living with her magic.
There we go. Now it'll be safe forever, hanging in this perfectly stable magic tree.
What a sick joke!
A dimension that not only had its own sun but was also able to have been accessed by other gems and organic beings alike, and I'm thinking that blue, yellow and white diamond most likely also emerged with an attachment to a pocket dimension of their own. But before we explore this possibility, we're going to need to address this very bizarre detail when it comes to the pink dimension.
What is this place? I can't breathe!
You what?
We'd learned during the season 5 episode titled Lassie's Head that Steven being born with Pink Diamond's gemstone gained her power to revive dead organic life forms with a single tear, and as a direct result of this ability being used, a stump of land as well as a giant pink tree would be created inside of a pink dimension after the resurrection.
This is all very nice, but it doesn't solve the mystery.
Now, despite the fact that the pink dimension was a place that was seemingly designed by the creators of the diamonds with the sole purpose of saving organic life, the environment would also ironically get confirmed to have been one of the very few locations on the show that didn't have a breathable atmosphere or oxygen inside of it. And trust me, I do mean one of the very few locations on the show, because the only other locations that we've been introduced to that didn't have a breathable atmosphere or oxygen inside of it was literally the ocean and the vacuum of outer space. I mean, even every single one of the locations off planet that Steven and the rest of the crystal gems would find themselves visiting over the course of a series, weirdly had a very comfortable level of oxygen for humans, including the abandoned facility that was built to create pearls called the Reef that we'd get the chance to learn about during the Steven Universe future episode titled Volleyball.
Whoa!
Please feel free to take your time looking through the latest offerings and accessories and appearance modifiers as we make our way to the care center.
The warp pod dimension that our boy Steven would almost find himself getting frozen to death in during the season 1 episode titled Warp Tour. And even the entirety of Homeworld itself, which is easily the strangest example of all, because the show made sure to explain to us that the diamonds and the gem empire at large weren't exactly going out of their way to plant more trees.
Took forever to yank those puny green earthlings out of the ground.
You mean grass?
I don't know their names.
But wait! There's more!
No! Ugh. Gross! That's disgusting! Ugh. No! The grass! Get out of here!
And there can't really be any oxygen without trees or massive amounts of water-based organic life forms, so yeah. The point is that we should be able to come to the conclusion that the pink dimension, being made without the existence of a breathable atmosphere or any oxygen inside of it, was most likely not designed to have been a place that was genuinely meant to help organic life but to exploit them. Which is what I would have said if the organic life forms that were brought back to the world of the living by Steven and Pink Diamond weren't also capable of surviving without needing to eat, sleep, and yes, even breathe.
But aren't you hungry? Maybe you only eat magical lizards now like Lion. Are you hungry for lizards?
No, I do not want a lizard.
This means that being revived by one of the diamonds gives organic beings some of the unique abilities and skills that are held by the rest of the gems. Now, the reason for why I'm so convinced that blue, yellow, and white diamond all also emerge with some kind of connection to a pocket dimension of their own is because of the fact that we learned during the Steven Universe feature episode titled Homeworld Bound that all of them were capable of developing constructive powers to go along with their destructive powers.
White Diamond's powers work in reverse now.
What does that mean?
We'd also learned during the season 5 episode titled Reunited that blue and yellow diamond were both made with the ability to interact with and even use their powers inside of the astral plane. Just like how our boy Steven has always been able to, even going as far as claiming that they were able to sense Pink Diamond's aura. And based on blue and yellow diamond's lack of making a correction when it came to Eyebor's testimony during the season 5 episode titled The Trial.
And who else has the ability to heal gems other than the villainous Rose Quartz?
Along with a very telling interaction with Steven and the rest of the crystal gems during the season 5 episode titled Legs from Here to Homeworld.
Very well. I can try, but I make no promises.
We know that none of the other diamonds ever figured out that they were also made with the ability to use their natural essence to heal gems before Steven would recently enter their lives and establish error-free. When you consider the fact that blue, yellow, and white diamond were all shocked to find out that their final attack against the crystal gems at the end of a gem war didn't destroy them but instead just transformed them into a bunch of giant monsters, it's incredibly plausible that the other 3 diamonds deciding to stay as far away from organic life forms as possible for the majority of their lives just never figured out that they were linked to a pocket dimension of their own. I mean, even Rose Quartz herself would only find out about this massive part of her life by accident long after she would decide to step down from being Pink Diamond.
Steven, are you okay?
Alright, so for the sake of the argument, let's pretend like it's confirmed that pink, blue, yellow, and white diamond were all made with a strong connection to a pocket dimension of their own. Why in the world would the creators of the diamonds go out of their way to design them like that to begin with? Well, I actually don't know, but I think that I found a way for us to find out the answer.
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
Alright, so according to a decent portion of the fandom on the Steven Universe Reddit, it's very possible that the diamonds were originally intended to have revived any and all forms of organic life that they killed off during their conquest across the universe in order for them to be able to cultivate an assortment of different armies at the exact same time, basically implying that the diamonds were originally made to work alongside organic life, which surprisingly fits really well with all of my theories on the origin of the gem, so that's nice. Who knows, maybe all 4 of the diamonds emerged with a power to access a pocket dimension because they were originally intended to have competed against each other in some kind of cosmic death game to find out which one of them were able to murder and revive the most organic life forms. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this discussion, and I'm really hoping that Last of Us Stars will be able to answer the question that the original series never got the chance to.